Start with a little rocking, just a little. We've been playing with this idea of rocking, movement, and breath. So one of the things in luminous, like luminous is its intent is that we have a unification of these masculine and feminine principles. And each wisdom quality, water, air, tree, is in one or the other. So water is a feminine, tree will be a masculine. And a lot of meditation is taught through the masculine. So a lot of meditation is stillness and on your own, by yourself, right? And then notice that there are many doorways to God, many doorways to recognition and realization. And right now we are in the feminine, we talk about movement and changing nature because feminine has more connection to the energy. The masculine, we call that the awareness, the stillness. So just notice, and reality is made of both, awareness energy. Awareness energy form as one. So everything is everything. But just notice right now we're kind of swaying. We're swaying in the moving. And think of how certain cultures, this was their spiritual path. Maybe it was dance. Think of all the cultures that found their path to God and realization through dance, and movement, and singing, right? You feel that? And just notice, like, is this more your style? Are you more of like a bhakti, like through the love and the divinity, right? And just notice that. Mm-hmm. And then another piece that is more of a feminine door, that's about water's door. We're kind of touching water's door to awakening and to God and to true nature. Another piece is relational. Like instead of a solo practice, another doorway could be a relational doorway, which I notice a lot of people here really like. So notice what it's like when you find another being in the screen and you view them through your heart, through your belly heart. And see if you can notice what viewing through your belly heart, how that shifts you on the map. So we give you a map of ordinary, subtle, simultaneous, true nature. See if you can notice what just this doorway of viewing through the belly heart, what level of mind do you end up in? Are you in ordinary, or did it shift you out of ordinary? Did it shift you into subtle? Like you're feeling your energy and their energy, and there's still an otherness? Or did you get all the way to like simultaneous, where there's this interconnected one field of awareness energy? And they're like a wave arising in the ocean of us? Yeah. What's it feel like from here? And use your meta awareness to notice what level of mind are you viewing from. Without judgment. It's not to judge yourself that you should be in a certain level of mind. It's actually to notice with awareness. Where do you shift to in this relational door? You may be a person who prefers non-relational doorways. It's all good. This is just about learning. And I'm asking you to do two things at once, to literally stay in this view through your belly and your heart with this other being, and notice your level of mind. So a couple shares. What do you notice?
Takes me right to simultaneous.
Yeah, so this is a good door for you, right? The relational space. Is this easier than the solo space, or are both easy?
The solo space is more awake awareness, more like space.
Yeah. So you're more used to in that practice awareness, looking at awareness. And then
Yeah.
here you have the ground of awareness, but now you're feeling the interconnected warmth. Uh-huh. Yeah. Beautiful. Any other shares?
I notice I want to do both. I want to dance with the person I'm.
You want to stay not only in the relational door, but you want to be in the movement door. You're like, let's do it all.
Have it all.
Nice. Yeah, and I would say some of my early glimpses through simultaneous were in dance environments. It's a beautiful environment to open. Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know where I landed. It's interesting. Like I picked a person and suddenly I felt really still inside and calm and grounded. Kind of like finding a home in the connection. There's like no thoughts.
Yeah. Did you feel full or empty? Like, do you feel like
Full.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You know where you ended? You landed in earth. You landed in emptiness form. That stillness, the stability, that here-ness, beyond thought. Still, everything is within you. Other people are within you. But there's an emphasis on the form body, emptiness form rather than emptiness energy. Beautiful. Very powerful. Anyone else want to share?
I noticed that I got a softer sense of the person and more of sensing the person rather than seeing them for sure.
Right. So that sounds like you went out of ordinary mind, which uses the senses like eyes, nose, ears. And it feels like at least subtle mind, because you were able to sense their energy in the felt sense. And then a question I have is, did it feel like they were over there and you were sensing them, or did it feel like there was one unified field that they were within?
One unified field.
Okay, so you went all the way to simultaneous then. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful.
I felt a aliveness in my belly.
Nice. And then do you feel like your body has edges, or was there an aliveness in your belly and an all-pervasive feel?
Yeah, it felt like the one belly of the universe belly.
Right.
I was
so that's simultaneous. You feel that? Yeah. And this group, I think we're pretty trained now that it seems like a lot of us are just dropping into simultaneous on one cue. Pretty profound, you guys. I don't know if you realize how rare that is to be in a group of people that can shift all the way to simultaneous. Beautiful. Really profound. Okay, so we're going to keep going. I'm going to show, we're doing watery doors this morning. Another door, for instance, in Dzogchen, when you teach about the recognition of awareness, the phrase is that we often say is my own mind, and that's to cut through the duality, as if there's out there-ness, as if there's, there is no God out there. The idea is you cut through the duality and you recognize none other than my own mind, right? Which is beautiful and important, because if you never cut through the duality, you don't get the full realization. You do have to recognize none other than myself. That this is, when I say God, it's like God and I are one, right? It's not truly an out there God. It's not God as an object, it's God as an atmosphere. that's intermingling with me, right? And that doesn't mean that there isn't a beautiful doorway to that realization that is more about out there-ness. You know, Ken Wilber calls it the thou relationship to the sacred, to God, to divinity, rather than the self-realization relationship. So take a moment, and again, we're experimenting with water doors to see if these are your doors. And every module will teach different doors, and you'll get to know, oh, my best door is relational. My best door is sitting in silence by myself. My best door, ... Okay? So in this moment, we're going to go through the devotional door and the surrender door. So feel what it's like. And this one, I would suggest for some of you to embody this, actually to get up. You know, in many traditions, they have something called prostrations. So this has to do with laying oneself down, okay? And you don't have to do this sitting. You could do this with your whole body. So I just want to invite you to discover your way. So we've been doing this thing where we unhook or we unmerge from our ordinary mind. So right now, we're going to recognize that when we are identified with the small self, we are the little one, right? And we're going to bring this little one, and we're going to honor that we don't know. So just feel that I could never do this without you, God, divinity, source, universal awareness. Like, I cannot do this. I need to lay myself on your feet. This is more than I could ever personally know. This is more than I could ever carry. And I ask that you carry me. I give myself in devotion to you. May I only serve your work in this world. And as you're experimenting, and you can find your own words for this, I'm just offering words. Feel what your body wants to do. How can you recognize that you could never do this with your personal self, with your ego mind? That only God can actually do this. Whatever needs to be done, whatever needs to happen, only this all-pervasive wisdom has enough intelligence for whatever needs to happen. So how can you give it up, give it over? All the trying, all the struggling, all the trying to do it yourself. All the burdens. And instead of serving self or even serving humanity, what would it be like to serve God? Serve divine wisdom alone. To be led, to be guided, and to give up all the parts of you that try to control, manage, direct, grip, and give them all up. Lay yourself on the altar of divinity, in the lap of the Divine Mother, Call upon the Father to care and guide for you and direct you and give you his strength. And realize you have no strength of your own. There is only God's strength. You have no power of your own. There is only God's power. You have no wisdom of your own. There is only God's wisdom. And everything you know about love only comes from the source of love. Lay yourself down. And bring all that egoism, all that trying, all that control, all that trying to manage, take care of yourself, all that gripping, and give it to God. Give it to all pervasive, universal wisdom. Give it to this intelligence that's so much greater than our little mind. And in this moment, confess to this unconditional source that would never judge you, but confess all the ways you have tried to protect yourself and have not been willing to surrender and follow the truth. You have got caught in your small self, in your small parts, defending, caught in your small angers and your small judgments and your needs for control. And confess this onto this unconditional source. For you have turned away from this source that is guiding you, that is loving you, that does care for you if only you give yourself to this source. And feel all the ways you have held yourself back. And confess those ways. All the small-mindedness, all the pettiness, all the hoarding, all the defending, all the attacking, all the negative speech, all the negative thoughts, all because we do not trust and hold ourselves back from this infinite source that wants to love us, that wants to care for us in every way possible. This infinite source that never leaves us, never forsakes us, is here in every way to provide everything we need if we simply were to open, to receive. If we could find the capacity to go beyond the mistrust and surrender ourselves open and lay ourselves splayed like a flower to the sun and give ourselves to this source that wants to nourish us completely, fill us completely, illuminate us with its wisdom completely so that we can be none other than this source. We can be none other than God. And we can serve nothing other than this divine wisdom, than the divine truth. And we can be expressions of this divine power. What do you still need to do? What do you still need to confess? How do you need to let go even more in your body? To give it up, to lay the small self down, to realize that you don't need to do this alone, that you are connected. That love is raining down if you were to only open to it. There is nothing. This love does not punish. This love does not judge. There is nothing to hide from. There is nothing wrong with you. There is only your ignorance or your lack of trust that is keeping you from everything you need. Because everything is provided for through this source. If only you could relax into it and allow this wisdom to flow through and animate and fulfill everything. What part of you is still holding back? What part of you still believes that you are going to save the world? What egoism that thinks that you are the one that is healing or awakening or helping others or leading movements? There is one love, one power, one animating force, one source. And the more we open to it, that source is the effortless mind that unfolds everything perfectly. And we are carried by that river, and we are that river. And that river ends in an ocean that we are. Feel this eternal source. This immortal love. Feel the courage that you have when everything you do is an act of truth, divine truth, emanating from divine power. Nothing harms you here. No mortal mind can touch the truth of who you are and what you serve. Lay everything down to this source. Lay the control. Lay all the ways you have turned from it. Repent simply means to turn back, to turn towards, to return to the source of who you actually are, to return to that which is guiding everything, to bring your devotion and your love and your dedication in true alignment. And every time you have gotten caught in a part and acted in some way that caused harm to another or harm to yourself, bring that into the loving arms of this source. Do not hold those burdens in your body. Do not hold guilt. Do not hold shame. There is nothing to hide from. You are seen in all ways, and your innocence is never forgotten. Through God's eyes, who you truly are, what you truly are, is always here. Which is none other than God itself. None other than this nature, this all-pervasive wisdom, this all-pervasive love. Walk as the peacekeepers. Let every step be none other than the step guided by this divine source. Let your hands be the hands of this divine source. Let your voice be the voice of this divine source. And whenever you turn away in fear, mistrust, egocentrism, turn yourself back. Give yourself again and again back. Serve nothing else but divine truth and divine love. And noticing the atmosphere that you are in, and noticing if that atmosphere is pervading through your body, if you are separate from that atmosphere, or whether you are one with it.